Hi there, this is Kevin from maximizingecommerce.com. I help people start and grow e-commerce businesses. And in this video, we're going to talk about how do fees on FBA work. So let's talk a little bit about what are the costs involved. Now, the costs involved in running an FBA business, basically run in the gamut of your upfront costs, and then there's going to be costs that are going to be deducted every time you make a sale. So to start off, let's talk a little bit about the upfront costs. So your upfront costs are going to be your cost of your product, because you're going to have to pay for that, generally speaking, before you can ever send that into Amazon. Now, also, you're going to have the cost to actually ship the product to Amazon's warehouses, to their fulfillment centers. Now, the nice thing about Amazon is you get to use their logistical network and their contracted pricing with different carriers such as UPS. And some of the best rates you'll ever see on shipping a package are going to be whenever you're shipping something to one of Amazon's warehouses. And also, there's going to be some costs involved if you're looking to set up a professional seller account. Now, that's not necessarily required right away. And here, let me show you real quick what that would look like. So if you're looking to sell on Amazon, you can register two different ways. So on this, and I'll have the link down below, but here where it says sell as a professional seller, $39.99 a month plus additional selling fees. Those additional selling fees would be like commissions and some of the fulfillment fees, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But you can avoid this $39.99 to get started. If you come down here, you'll see there's actually two different ways to sell, not just as a professional seller, which is $40 a month. So as they say here, if you plan to sell 40 items a month, or more, then it would be worth it to you to register as a professional seller. Otherwise, you could register as an individual seller. So if you're just getting started, I would go ahead and go the individual seller route. Now, you pay an additional 99 cents for every sale you make, but that's not going to be charged to you until the sale itself is made. So once you get to the point of doing some more advanced things in your business and selling more products, then you can go the professional route. But there's nothing against starting as an individual seller. You get access to the Seller Central, which is the back office for Amazon. You can have access to the app and a lot of other great things that they've got available for sellers as an individual seller. So you don't have to start right away spending the $40 a month. In fact, just to get started, I would avoid doing that. Now, some of the other costs that are involved are going to happen every time a sale is made. So there's two basic costs that are going to get deducted every time the sale is made. Now, one is going to be the commission. So the commission is going to range 8 to 15, sometimes a higher percentage. It depends on the category of the product that it is you're selling. Most things you'll sell as a seller tend to be in the 15% mark, as far as 15% of whatever the selling price is. And there's also the fulfillment fees. So the fulfillment fees are generally, they're going to call like a pick and pack fee, as well as if you're selling as an individual seller, it's going to be that 99 cents per unit would be one of those fulfillment fees that get deducted. So to show you an example, this is taken from a screenshot in my back office, in my Seller Central, where I sold a product you can see for $20.99, and Amazon took out their fees, so their pick and pack fee of $2.99, and the referral fee on this particular product was $3.15. Now, if you do the math real quick, $20.99 times 15% would be $3.15. So if you take the $20.99 selling price, subtract out the $2.99 pick and pack fee, and subtract out the $3.15 referral fee, so that would be the commission, I ended up with the $14.85. Is what they deposited into my account, and basically every 2 weeks, whatever's in my account, they deposit into my bank. So when I say my account with Amazon. So not a bad little profit there on that. Now, of course, I still have to take out in the back end my costs for the product that I'll be reinvesting to replenish for that product. But you can see how the cash flow works there. And even if you're doing this as an individual seller where you get charged the additional 99 cents, it's still, you can make this pretty profitable. So just to go into a little bit more depth of what that looks like. So if we come back over here, I've got a little bit more in depth of how the fee structure works. So they've got fee structures are going to range during different seasons. So between January and September, and then fourth quarter, everything is going to be different. But in January through September, it's going to depend on the size and the weight of the product. Well, it's always going to be on the size and the weight of the product. So there's what they call standard size, which are smaller items. You could say, generally speaking, things will fit in this a shoebox, something around that size, and then oversized is larger items. And then, of course, weight has a big factor. So as things get bigger and heavier, you can see that the fees go up for fulfilling those. And they can be a little bit more involved than that. And then if we go down here to October through December, you can see the fees actually start going down. What they're really trying to encourage sellers to do is not just load up a warehouse, but to keep the warehouse, keep things being sold. So that way they're not filling up their warehouse and bursting at the seams with all the stuff coming in from third-party sellers. And then you can see here a little bit more about inventory storage, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But if you wanted to see more about what the costs involved were with the fees, you could take this link here, and it'll talk about for at least 2017 as when this video is being produced, what the fees look like. And you're going to see this here gets a little bit more in depth. But generally speaking, it's going to be type of product, whether it's media or non-media. So if you're selling some sort of kitchen tool, kitchen utensil, it would be non-media. If you're selling a DVD, it would be media. So depending on what it is you're selling, this goes into a little bit more depth, and the nice thing is they also give some examples if you go down here, like, for example, mobile device case, T-shirts, things of that nature. So things that start getting bigger and heavier, and they give different examples. So you're free to do that at your leisure, to go check that out. And again, I've got the links to all this down below. And also, I want to talk about some of the other costs that are involved. So there are some other costs that are involved. They're not as major as of course, the cost of the product itself, or the cost of your cost of fulfilling the item, as well as the commission. That can get kind of expensive. But there are some smaller fees, such as inventory storage and the long-term storage fee. And you might be saying to yourself, well, isn't that kind of the same thing? So the inventory storage fee is what they charge monthly, which is, it literally is pennies per product. So if you manage your inventory well and don't try to overstock the place, these can be somewhat negligible. Now, if you overload the warehouses with thousands of units of products that you're not even sure if they're even going to sell, then this can start to add up. And then also, as long as you're turning over your inventory and it's not staying too long in the warehouses, these long-term storage fees aren't too much of an issue. But I'm going to show you a little bit more of what they look like here in a second. As well as there are going to be some advertising costs involved. Now, advertising is optional and something you can do as a professional seller, but it is one nice way to help grow your business. So just to look a little bit more at what those other fees that we're looking at here. So monthly storage fee is 54 cents per cubic unit. Now that's the nice thing is they're only charging you for what you are using. So if you went to a self-storage facility and you wanted to use that as a way of storing some of your units, you're going to pay for whatever space you get. They don't just charge you for what space you use. So if you get a 10 by 10 unit, whether you fill it up to the top or you just have a small portion you use, you pay whatever that is. Now with Amazon, they're going to basically just, for whatever you have in stock in inventory at the time, is what they're going to charge you for. And now notice here, between January and October and November, December, the rates skyrocket, because what they're trying to do is not get sellers to just load up at Christmas time, because Christmas time is incredibly busy when you get to the December holiday season. But they're basically wanting you to, they're trying to incentivize basically with the fees of not overwhelming them with too much. So you saw that the cost for fulfillment went down around the holidays because they want more stuff going out the door, and they're basically charging more for what's coming in the door and staying there. So that would be your monthly inventory storage fee. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about that. As long as you have products coming in and out, this is a relatively negligible fee. And then what can be bigger here is the long-term storage fee. Now, in order to be charged, they're going to be 2 times of the year that they're going to run long-term storage fees, which is going to be February 15th and August 15th. So it's basically, they call it their cleanup dates. So whatever's been in the fulfillment center for at least 6 months is going to be charged based on, they're going with the same per cubic foot philosophy, a fee. And you can see there on the right hand side what they look like. Now, it has to be in the warehouse for at least 6 months. So if you're moving product, then you don't have to worry too much about these long-term storage fees. So as long as you're managing your business, these fees, I wouldn't worry too much about it, especially in the beginning. Now, if you're thinking about whether or not to do this, I wouldn't let storage fees get in your way. As long as product is moving, there's ways you can lower the price. You can have them just send it to you. You can have inventory destroyed. There's a ton of different things you can do to mitigate the long-term storage fee. So, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about long-term storage fee, and I certainly wouldn't worry too much about the monthly storage fee. As long as you're managing your business and, not sending in thousands and thousands of a unit that you have, or units of a product, I should say, that you have no idea whether or not it's going to sell. And then sponsored ads, it's, again, you have to have a professional seller account. So once you've gotten up and running and you got some products that you want to move, you could basically, every time somebody clicks on a particular link, and if sometimes if you're looking on Amazon, you can see where there are links to particular products. Basically, that seller is bidding in order to get someone to click on a link. So it's a nice way to jumpstart sales for a particular product. And oftentimes they'll even run these deals where, as you first start off, in sponsored products or sponsored ads, that they give you like a $50 credit. So every now and then you might see something like that. Once you get up and going, you can go through these advertising links pretty quickly, but as long as it's profitable, it's worth it. It's definitely something worth doing. So that is another potential cost. As well as sometimes there's also the cost for shipping materials as you send things to Amazon. So we talked about there is on the front end, shipping things out, which I guess you could say this is also a front end cost, but boxes, packing materials, things of that nature, because whatever you send to Amazon, you want to make sure it stays in good condition. So you don't want things going without some level of protection. Now, you don't have to bubble wrap everything necessarily, but you want to make sure that you've got sturdy boxes, that you got good tape, that you don't have stuff shifting around inside of the boxes. So there are some packing materials, but those costs usually aren't too expensive. And a lot of times, if you're just getting started, you could use boxes that you have laying around the house if you have any. Now, you may be saying to yourself, okay, well, what are some of the estimates of these costs? Now, I would say one rule of thumb is you could look at things as a third, and a third. So what are those thirds? Well, first third you could look at is the cost of your product. Now, again, this is just an estimate. Sometimes it could be higher, sometimes it could be lower, depending on what it is you're selling and what the price you're selling. But of your selling price, about a third of it was going to be, you should allocate towards the cost of your product. And then the FBA commission and fees. Now, if you do the math on the example I showed before, it was about 29%. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a third, but 29% is roughly a third. Then also your gross profit. So if you take whatever your selling price is, you subtract out your cost of your product, you subtract out your FBA commissions, your FBA fulfillment fees and your commissions, then your whatever's left we'll call your gross profit, which you could use that either to keep, or you can invest back in your business to buy more inventory, to roll out new products, to do advertising, to do a multitude of different things. So If you've found this helpful, please go to maximizingecommerce.com and sign up for updates and exclusive tips and resources to help you grow your business. And if you found this helpful, also I would ask that you click the little thumbs up button to like this video, as well as subscribe to this channel. It helps others find this. And then if you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I do my best to go through and read all the comments and reply to as many as possible. So thank you for watching this video, and wishing you the best as you work to maximize your e-commerce results.